The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off.
Feelings don't matter, so brace yourself tight. He'll lay it down heavy, he'll light up the night. No sugar-coated tales, just cold hard facts. In the realm of opinions, there's no turning back. Listen close or just walk away. But Aaron had to say it, come what may. Here comes Aaron with the truth untold. No holding back, watch the truth unfold. On the podcast airways, feel the righteous sting. You either take it in or let the silence ring.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start out as we do by saying to Josh, Iceman, Jason, Miss Aaron, Mike, Tabby, Javier, Fitz, McShane, El Jefe, El Devil, and El Morte, the guys at the Weather Report, to Billy G, and to Walt from the B-Raw podcast. Thank you all for your continued support. I am really getting to the point where I am so glad you guys are still with me after all the bullshit. All right, so if you're listening to this the day it comes out, it'll be Tuesday, November 5th, Election Day. I'm not going to try an 11th hour anybody and try and change any last-minute opinions, because I'm pretty sure if you're listening to me, you already know who you're voting for. You're probably fairly well-educated on the matter, or fairly consistent, or you're spite listening, because let's be honest, there's not a lot of hardcore leftists that are probably listening to the show, and if they are, they're probably doing it just to get themselves riled up and angry, because it's not like I'm ever going to say anything nice or deferential about their preferred stances or beliefs. I mean, I'm always willing to be open-minded and have civil discourse and discussion about things. If you don't agree with me and you think I'm wrong, and you think you can actually change my mind through a civilized discourse and through a calm, rational conversation, I'm more than willing to have it with you. But if you think I'm going to accept your feelings as a reason as to why something is true or just or accurate, then you're going to have to fucking do better, or I'm going to hurt those little feelings. I'm going to make you cry, and realistically, yeah, no, your tears will sustain me, you weak-minded fucks. But if you stop and look at the way things are going, again, like I said, this is coming out 11th hour. Don't forget there's going to be a chance to see some live stream reactions as the votes are being tallied and the steel is being put into place tonight. I'll be streaming with the Weathered View guys, Weathered Report, and I'll be streaming it on my channels too. I'm just going to kind of bootleg their feed, I think, and stick it out on my channels, and possibly bring some friends of the show on. We'll just kind of see. However, anybody that's out there, the links will be available on like my Discord server and on the Weathered View socials and stuff like that. So however Bruce feels like sending out his invites, and he's already told me if I want to invite people I can. So if you want to stop in and have a little chitty chat about some political stuff as the country is seeing how things are going to fall out, go ahead and let us know. Now, they're already saying in several swing states, including New Mexico, that it's going to take 3 to 4 days to know how many votes there are and to actually count all the votes. And leading up to this, final stance for this election, there have been all kinds of improprieties being brought to light. I mean, hundreds of thousands of glitched, I'm using heavy air quotes here, votes in early voting in Michigan, all registered to the same voter ID number. Different states fighting to keep acknowledged illegal voters on the rosters, and the states fighting to keep dead motherfuckers on the fucking voting tallies. There's nothing that is being done by the establishment to try and restore any kind of faith in the electoral process here in this country. And there's really no reason for your average motherfucker to have any faith left in this system based on my observations. Again, this is like everything in this show, this is purely my opinion and my thoughts on things and the way I feel about things. And if you don't like it, start your own fucking podcast, or, go ahead and reach out to me. Like I said, I will talk to anybody anytime about anything. I will give anybody a chance to try and change my mind or to try and validate their own beliefs and their own opinions. One thing I will not do is just give motherfuckers a platform for any old stupid shit. I've had a few people reach out to me. They were like, hey, I think, I represent so-and-so, and I think they'd be a great fit for your podcast. And it's literally never anybody who would be a good fit for this fucking show. It's not somebody who wants to just come on and have a little conversation. It's always some jackass with an agenda to push or some book they're trying to shill. And it's like, you've obviously never listened to my fucking show if you think this person's going to come on there and just be able to sling their bullshit and be held on it, not get taken to task over the fucking matter. Looking at you, flat earth people. But I'm getting sidetracked here. So, looking at the last couple of weeks and the way things are going, and obviously from the last few shows, you guys are aware, I'm getting fucking burnt out. I really am. Not just primarily with the political horseshit. I'm ready for it to be over. I'm ready for all the bullshit and the nonsense to be done. I realistically, as I've said repeatedly, neither side is going to concede defeat. Neither side is going to accept the fucking results of this election. The side that is actively trying to put in every questionable thought about the system, the side that is trying to keep dead fucks and illegals on the voting registries, will claim the results of the election are invalid if they lose overwhelmingly. If there is some massive swell of support and every fucking person who is fed up with the fucking current horse shit we're dealing with, every person who's tired of not being able to buy groceries, every kid who's tired of not being able to plan for their future, who don't have dreams of starting a family, buying a home, settling down somewhere, who have dreams of getting by, if all of these people come out and they vote against the establishment, they vote against the system, and they vote for fucking Trump and the people he has surrounded himself with, because for a lot of people, it's not that they're voting for Trump alone. They're voting for Trump because he brings RFK with him. He brings Elon Musk. He now has Ron Paul saying that he will be willing to talk to Elon Musk about his Department of Governmental Efficiency. That is so fucking huge in a lot of ways for people that have since 2012 when Ron Paul could have been the Republican candidate. But instead we get this horse shit. But this is huge for anybody who's of a liberty mind who wants to see small government, who wants the government taken back to the level that was originally intended to, where the federal government is so inconsequential that it really doesn't fucking matter who gets the job. Anybody who's for smaller government and efficiency and downsizing and keeping more of your own fucking money and ending the Fed so they can't inflate the fucking money you are allowed to keep away through and to keep you in poverty and dependent upon these fucking parasites. It's a huge deal. And you've got RFK with his Make America Healthy Again and getting the government out of fucking all this horse shit that allows them to poison our food supply and regulate our country out of the leadership position of the world, taking away any incentive to be innovative and creative in this fucking world. And Tulsi Gabbard and just he's got Elon Musk endorsing me. He's got fucking Tucker Carlson. All these people that 10 years ago never would have been on the same playing field, never would have been on the same fucking team. But the fact that he's bringing all these people around from him, if nothing else, Trump is not a dumb motherfucker. He's a fairly savvy individual. Like him, hate him, be indifferent, whatever. If you're a literal-minded person, if you look at facts and reality, the guy is not fucking dumb. He learns from his fucking mistakes. He doesn't make the same mistakes over and over again. He makes new and innovative mistakes because he takes risks. That's how successful business people do shit. They learn from their mistakes. They make new mistakes because they're trying different approaches. And one thing he learned from was, and he said it multiple times, a lot of people said it, I said it when the fucking Cheeto-dusted bastard got elected the first time. He surrounded himself with the wrong fucking people. For all the promises he made, he wound up surrounding himself with swamp creatures, and he got nothing fucking done. They manipulated his ego, they played to his arrogance, and they fucking kept him from accomplishing a fucking thing. He learned from his mistakes. He's not surrounding himself with yes men who are just going to tell him what he wants to hear. He's not surrounding himself with people that are beloved of the fucking swamp. He's not surrounding himself with people that have the support of the military-industrial complex and the Uniparty. He's got all these other people that want to shred the shit too and give the country back to the people that it's supposed to belong to and not these fucking elitist parasites fucks that are in Washington right now. And if you are still on the fence in any way, shape, or form, if you somehow stumble onto this, because, my tens of regular listeners, and I love all of you dearly, I probably already know everywhere I stand on this, but all you have to do to tell the difference in the candidates and how they're going to impact your life, go past your myopic, my favorite celebrity told me to do this shit, and look at who is actually endorsing the candidates. On the one hand, you've got fucking Trump and all these radical thinkers and outside innovators and people that are not part of this establishment that has literally made every fucking problem in your life more prevalent or created it out of fucking nothing, because that's how they keep themselves enriched and keep themselves in power. On the other hand, you have this worthless, cackling hyena who can't string together a coherent sentence, who can't answer questions, who can't think on her feet, who can't handle conflict, can't handle be taken to the woodshed, is in no way, shape, or form of the demeanor or personality or fucking character to be the leader of the free country. She's not in any kind of position to be any kind of figurehead even. She is a fucking worthless, vapid puppet. And she has the endorsement of the military-industrial complex, Hollywood, fucking celebrities that are all probably on Diddy party guest lists and on video doing some really horrific shit to probably children or other people. Definitely all kinds of shady shit going on, because since Diddy got arrested, it's amazing the amount of celebrities have come out endorsing this fucking bitch. And then you have uniparty pieces of shit like Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, the Bushes, the Clintons, the fucking Obamas, all these uniparty fucking hacks who are all political elitists that are not, they're not your friends. They're not the common person. They have nothing in common with you, regardless of how much they try to sell Trump as some bigoted elitist who thinks he's better than everybody else because he's a rich motherfucker and blah, blah, blah. But not a goddamn one of these people would give you the time of the day on the street if they didn't think there was a fucking camera pointed at them. They are all arrogant, parasitic pieces of shit that made their fortunes on the backs of the working class. And they try and paint this commie idyllic bullshit to stupid college kids and retarded motherfuckers and abortion motherfucker. I'm voting for my bodily rights. You got no problem demanding people taking experimental vaccines, but you need to be able to kill your babies because you're irresponsible and you can't, not fuck if you're not in a position to have kids, or, not spend the money for rubbers or birth control or the morning after pill or any of the other myriad things that would prevent you from having to terminate a fetus because you're an irresponsible sack of shit. If you don't want to have kids with the person you're fucking, maybe you shouldn't be fucking that person, you smooth-brained cunt. But I digress. Again, as far as abortion goes, do I think it should be outlawed? No, I don't. I think that's a personal choice between you and your higher powers or whatever might exist outside of our current incarnations. And frankly, I don't care what you do because I'm not going to be the one that has to answer for it. You are. So realistically, I don't think I don't think anything should be outlawed in terms of that kind of stuff, because all it does is create a black market. And frankly, Trump has said he's not going to outlaw any national abortion bans. If a national abortion ban comes across his desk, he will veto it. Said it multiple times. Leftists still want to scream and holler that he's going to ban abortions nationwide and women are going to be dying because they're not going to be able to get their medical care. The biggest deciding factor for me in this whole thing, and like I said, up until recently, I was not going to vote for Donald Trump. I was very vocal about the fact that I was not going to vote for Donald Trump. I've never been a fan of Donald Trump. I'm still not a fan of Donald Trump. But when I look at the attacks and the just flat out brazen fucking lies that have come out of the left to try and stop people from voting for Trump, it'd be different if they went after policy, if they went after a track record, if they went after anything other than constant personal attacks and constant fucking easily disprovable lies. That is the ultimate thing for me. That is the deal breaker for me. And like I said last week, the fact that one individual pissed me off with his behavior to the point where I said, you know what, I'm voting just to cancel out your vote because you have fucking pissed me off that fucking much. If dumb motherfuckers like you think you've got the answers, I need to fix this. I need to do my part. And I have every intention of. By the time you hear this, I will hopefully have cast my vote and be on my merry fucking way to work. Because that's where I'm at. I mean, this is the closest thing you're going to get to an endorsement out of me, because I don't think anybody should be endorsing politicians. You get your vote, and that's literally the only influence you should be having on anything. I like the influence I'm trying to have is I'm trying to cultivate people to have the ability to think critically and to act logically. It's really a fucking not that hard of a skill to fucking learn. All you have to do is put your feelings aside for 30 seconds like a fucking grown-up and look at the facts. The fact of the matter is, everything they've said about Trump and his supporters, too, that's the other thing. The left is trying... The problem is their approach to trying to curry favor and to garner voters isn't designed to work on people that are in the middle. It's not designed to work on people that think critically. It's not designed to work on people who have any sort of analytical nature at fucking all. They are doing the kind of shit that will sway people like them to feel the way they do. And the inability to see beyond that massive fucking blind spot that, you know, would tell your average normal fucking person, or at least once upon a time normal, the fucking window, Overton window has shifted so fucking far, and it's starting to move back towards the center, which I am so grateful for, and I thank Elon Musk in a lot of ways for that, because without X, I don't think it would be happening. But ultimately, we've got these like smooth-brained fucks who are like, well, when I hear these things, I get all riled up, and I want bad things to happen to Orange Man. So everyone will get all riled up and want bad things to happen to Orange Man. And by telling people they're Nazis if they like Orange Man bad, they don't want to be Nazis because they're gonna say Orange Man bad and not support Orange Man because and these just childish, brain dead, retarded motherfuckers who cannot see beyond their own shortcomings and their own personal flaws and failings to the broader reality of the people you're trying to call all these names. You've done it to the point where your words are utterly fucking meaningless. Being called a Nazi over and over and over again by people who you don't respect, whose values you don't share, and whose opinions don't mean fuck all to you, doesn't carry any weight anymore. You can't scream Nazi and racist at everybody that disagrees with you 24/7 and expect people to still give a fuck after a certain point. Now, speaking from my personal experience as a big, bald-headed white dude, I've been accused of being a Nazi and accused of being a racist and accused of being all kinds of other things I'm not. I've been accused of being homophobic and xenophobic and all these other things, and I'm not phobic at all because I'm not afraid of a fucking thing. I'm not afraid of foreigners. I'm not afraid of gay people. I'm not afraid of anybody, really. I mean, now on an individual basis, there are some big no-neck, muscles, swollen-ass motherfuckers that I am very intimidated by because they could probably pull my arm out of the socket and beat me to death with it. I'm not afraid. I'm intimidated, yes, because I know my limitations and I'm a critical thinking realist. So I know that's the motherfucker I'm going to have to shoot. So I'm really not afraid. Intimidated, yes. Afraid, no, because I'll shoot the motherfucker if it comes down to it. But anyway, that's kind of where I find the biggest flaw in the way the left does things, and why I'm so surprised more of them don't realize. I mean, other than, like I said, you get your brainwashed college fucks in their early 20s that think they know how the world works, but realistically don't realize how easily manipulated and fucking stupid they actually are, because they've spent most of their developmental years being told about how special they are as long as they can repeat shit back by rote, give the teachers the answers they want to hear, and just regurgitate bullshit so they can be told how special and how smart they are. I mean, they're not taught critical thinking, so they don't understand how fucking drone that actually makes them and how really pathetic they actually are. But I honestly don't it's not like I'm tripping over my own tongue here. It's not like I'm some, I'm not Daredevil. I'm not the fucking man without fear. Nothing like that. But I don't understand letting fear rule your fucking life. And that is one of the threads that winds through everything the left has been doing for the last 4 years, probably longer. But honestly, prior to 4 years ago, I really wasn't paying much attention. I was too busy going, why do we have a reality star and fucking Hillary Clinton running for fucking office? And when Trump got elected, I said, you motherfuckers deserve this for putting that motherfucker in office. And frankly, it's just as much a Democrat's fault for fucking running Hillary when she had no business being on the fucking ticket because first woman president, and this cunt is still talking about how she was robbed and how she really won the presidency and how Trump was an illegitimate president. So I don't want to hear anybody talking shit about Donald Trump denying the 2020 elections, which showed far more evidence of impropriety than anything that fucking cankle-egg bitch had to say. So if you support the Democrats, you're a fucking hypocrite if you're going to talk shit about Republicans not wanting to acknowledge the 2020 elections. And you can suck my ass if you don't like it. You know, the old Rusty Cheerios just waiting for a little attention from you twat waffles. But again, getting sidetracked. What I don't understand, this whole we're going to try and run this entire campaign of fear. We're going to say we're bringing back joy and all the other horse shit that they tried to work as campaign slogans, none of which worked because, again, Kamala's an incompetent sack of shit. She was a poor selection for a mouthpiece. They'd have been better off running Joe with a fucking popsicle stick shoved up his ass to hold him vertical. I mean, the guy's functionally a corpse at this point anyway, and he still would have been a better fucking candidate. And they paired her with the most unlikable fucking closeted fucking horse semen chugging sack of shit. Piece of shit, filth governor, commie piece of shit, Tim Walz. I cannot express adequately the amount of disdain I hold for that fucking FUD-looking motherfucker. I hope he chokes to death on a horse cock. That is my sincere wish. For the people of Minnesota's sake, I really hope the fucking harness breaks and the horse rams its dick all the way down his throat next time. Worthless fuck stain, I swear to Christ. But yeah, their campaign of we're bringing back joy, we're bringing the joy back. Politics is never supposed to be about joy. Governing is not about being fucking happy. It's about being responsible and being efficient stewards of the population you are supposed to represent. Joy has exactly fuck all to do with it. Joy is a personal thing. Joy is something you have to do for yourself. You can't expect other people to keep you happy and to keep you joyful. It's an internal thing. And the party of joy is the most miserable bunch of fuckers on the fucking planet because they don't have any internalized self-worth or self-value. So they have to just make sure everybody else is miserable because they don't know how to make themselves joyful and happy. So they just have to assume everybody else is doing something unfair. Not that the fault is theirs, because it's not the party of responsibility, it's the party of joy. So it must be everybody else's fault that they can't be joyful, because there's no accountability, there's no blame, there's no self-awareness, there's no fucking touch with reality. So these miserable fucks just have to assume that everybody else is cheating, because people that are halfway decent and halfway happy with their lives must be doing something unfair, because these miserable fucks haven't been able to figure out the equation. And yet they are so enamored of their own assholes with their heads wedged firmly up there because it's warm and comforting like a womb, and they don't have to worry about a coat hanger coming for them because they're up their own ass. They're not in their mama's womb, so they're safe and warm in their own asses, and they can't pull their fucking heads out long enough to realize that it's an internalized thing, and if you don't do the fucking work, you don't get the fucking results. They can't look at these other people and go, hey, maybe they're happy because they're not focused on a bunch of irrelevant shit that doesn't fucking matter that other people are doing in their lives, and they're just worried about their own shit. They're just trying to survive. They're just trying to pay their bills, trying to get a little bit ahead, and instead of expecting the world to take care of them, accommodate them, and fund their bullshit, they're just keeping their heads down and living their day-to-day, and maybe that's why they're happier than me. Oh no, it must be because I'm not getting all the shit I deserved without doing any fucking work, and I'm not being acknowledged for my own uniqueness and my own specialness and my own originality and how special I actually am, even though I've never done, said, or accomplished a fucking thing in my life. So obviously the problem must be everybody else. And since I'm afraid of everything out there that's not me, I'm going to try and make everyone else afraid. And since they don't actually have any facts or data to support why everyone should be afraid, because these fears aren't based on anything logical or any concern. It's not looking at that big motherfucker at the gym that you just said something ignorant about his mother. It's not looking at somebody who you have tried to steal from, or somebody who you have tried to break into their home or try to rape them or assault them or do some ignorant shit to. It's all based on hypotheticals and nebulous concepts of things you think are bad. And so since they're bad, if they happen to you, nobody else can possibly want those things. So we have to make people afraid. So we have to demonize and villainize anyone who doesn't agree with us, So we're going to call people Nazis, and we're going to make up lies, and we're going to take things people say out of context, and we're going to amplify them, and we are going to, even once they're debunked, we're going to keep pushing the same bullshit. And then we're going to be confused why it doesn't fucking work. And there's this massive groundswell of people who are tired of being told they're the problem, they're the bad guy, they're the thing, because they don't want to encourage your bullshit. They don't want to fucking be fed off of by a bunch of worthless fucking parasites. They don't want to embrace your values and your ideals and your beliefs after being called the shittiest people on the world and all these other negative, horrific things you can say about people because they had the audacity not to believe what your fucking socioeconomical Marxist horseshit professor told you was the way the world fucking works. So rather than trying to win hearts and minds, they have gone with insults, fear-mongering, and fucking lies. And then you wonder why the joy is gone, why Camel Toe has to bus in fucking supporters to every fucking rally she has. I mean, the data's out there, but people have been doing cell phone tracking. People have been doing like footage of buses unloading hundreds of people at these fucking rallies because Kamala can't draw a fucking crowd organically anywhere. Trump's filling up fucking coliseums, and this bitch can't fill high school stadiums. And yet somehow they're going to still try and say the election's close. The fucking media has been pushing this, it's too close to call horse shit. The fucking, now if you look at the gambling sites, which is a much better indicator in my opinion of how the things are going, Trump's been blowing Camel Toe out of the water for fucking weeks. Now, in the last couple of days over the course of this weekend, the fucking numbers have been spiking in favor of Harris. But literally, these are gambling sites where these numbers are coming off of. Like, all that means is somebody dumped a fuck ton of money into putting things on her. The fact that she has spent literal record-breaking amounts of money in every fucking state on this election, fundraising numbers that would make ancient kings jealous, that they have been throwing at this fucking election, and still her popularity is in the fucking toilet. She was the most unpopular VP in history. And the whole narrative of, well, now all of a sudden she's the darling of the Democrat Party didn't fucking last. It didn't stick. It didn't take because she is so fucking incompetent that even with all the mainstream media on her side, even with fucking billionaires backing her, even with the establishment politicians coming out and rallying on her side, Democrats and Republicans, fucking, you got the Cheneys and the Bushes and all these other warhawk motherfuckers saying, well, you know, we're not going to support Trump. He doesn't represent the values of the fucking GOP and other. You know what? That's why he's popular with the American people. The American people are sick of these parasitic fucks taking advantage of us and telling us we should be grateful for the opportunity to fund their families. So, yeah, these out-of-touch motherfuckers took this worthless cunt, tried to elevate her up, and it just hasn't happened. No matter how much money they throw at it, no matter how much they try and pretend she's popular and well-liked, she's really fucking not. With everybody except for the fucking drones coming out of higher education in this country, I mean, even young kids are like, fuck this bitch. And ultimately, it's going to be a shit show. And it's going to be bad. And they know it's going to be bad. The realistic people are out there, shops in D.C. and Portland and fucking Washington, different Seattle and fucking downtown San Francisco and all these deep blue, you know, shouldn't be having problems because they're the idyllic paradise of the leftist manifestos where these shitheads have basically held sway for the last 6 fucking years because even before Trump got kicked out of office, they were still fucking getting away with things in these fucking cities. You know, pretty much anywhere that was on fire during the Summer of Love, business owners are putting up plywood and barricading their fucking stores and covering all their glass. This shit is not being done because they're worried the Republicans and the right-leaning people and the centrists are going to get pissed off. People don't border up their fucking shops when they're worried about conservatives getting mad. They do that shit because the leftist childish tantrum throwing that burns down cities that have nothing to do with what they're mad about because they don't know how to actually properly express themselves like adults. All they are is big old fucking toddlers who throw tantrums like spoiled little children that they are when they don't get their fucking way. Those are the motherfuckers that go out and break and burn and loot and take because they're a bunch of entitled fucking cunts. And it's very telling that, like I said, D.C. and all these blue cities are getting ready for a shitstorm. They don't think the cunt's going to win either. And if she does win, honestly, if she gets in and somehow gets certified and they say the election was valid, because there's going to be all kinds of legal contests if they even try and say she won this election. They're trying to the mainstream media is already trying to push the narrative that it's too close to call right now, so they can try and sell the steal. I don't know enough people in my personal life. I live in fucking Illinois. I live 40 minutes outside of Chicago. It's not a blue state here. There's a few camel toe signs floating around town, but not a lot. There's way more Trump signs, and I'm not that far from the city. The deep blue shitheads in Chicago, and even the shitheads in Chicago, are disillusioned with the fucking Democrat machine. The poor people of color who have traditionally been strongholds for the fucking Democratic Party, because they lie to them, they make them empty promises, and the people just keep generationally buying it, are fed up. They've been replaced by illegals, and they're not happy about it. And they've lost a lot of their bases, and they're trying to import and replace them. And if they manage to push this fucking steal through, I hate to be doom and gloom, but, and I know I'm not the only one saying it, this will probably be the last election. That is the ultimate death nail in the coffin for the United States of America and the experiment that this government actually was, because they're going to naturalize all these illegals. The illegals are going to vote blue because they were given everything they wanted on a silver platter by the Democrats, who will make a point of saying that, hey, the other guys wanted to throw you out of the country, but we're here to give you all this free shit and make you citizens, so vote for us. And it'll be 100 years before we get something about this without bloodshed, if that. And realistically, there's sayings out there, you can vote your way into communism, but you got to shoot your way out of it, and that's not wrong. The only thing is there's still enough core Americans where if it goes that route, it's going to get messy. And if it goes the other route and Trump wins and they manage to keep him alive and get the election certified and he gets inaugurated, it's going to get messy. The left is, I've said it before, the left is going to burn their shitholes. They're going to try and spread out into the surrounding areas. It's going to be problematic. And if it goes the other route and Camel Toe wins and they start trying to clamp down on this country with all the authoritarian bullshit that she stands for and has publicly stated repeatedly on record that she believes, no matter how much she's lying, trying to garner votes now, a whore doesn't change its spots. And so she's going to be in there and she's going to try and throw people in jail, and she's going to try and use her pen to put people's lives in the shitter for not agreeing with her and not staying in line. And there's a whole bunch of motherfuckers in this country that ain't going to, they're not going to play that game. They're not cut that way. They're not going to go along with it. And we get all these motherfuckers, oh, well, you need tanks and guns to fight the U.S. Army. A, laughs in Viet Cong. No, the fuck you don't. But B, yeah, it's a different thing when, first off, if you're calling for the military to strike your fellow citizens, you're a traitorous piece of shit and you need to die anyway. But no, first off, assuming the military is just going to follow orders, yeah, some of them will. You want people, an example of how fucking government drones will just follow orders? Look at the people that killed a squirrel over this weekend. The big rallying cry that pissed off a bunch of fence-sitting motherfuckers in the middle was government overreach because it came and killed a squirrel that had 500,000 Instagram followers because it was a cute little baby squirrel that the owner rescued when it was a baby because it was abandoned and was dying, and they nursed it back to health, and it was a pet. And they had a pet raccoon, and this pet raccoon and the pet squirrel were huge on Instagram, and they used the money from Instagram to fund their animal rescue, so a bunch of other animals were benefiting from this, but they didn't have the paperwork filed properly to have a squirrel and a raccoon as a pet. And the state of New York came in, seized the squirrel, seized the raccoon, euthanized them immediately to test them for rabies, because according to them, the squirrel bit one of them while they were seizing the squirrel from its home. So obviously it was a little freaked out. If these were actual wildlife agents, how fucking unprofessional do you have to be to get bit by a fucking squirrel that you're trying to seize out of a home? A domesticated pet squirrel that was famous for eating Eggos off of its owner's shoulder. It was not a violent or rabid thing until you came after it. So this has become a rallying cry for, if the state's willing to do this over a fucking squirrel, what's it going to do for when you don't want to go along and you don't want to toe the line? And there's a lot of these jackbooted fucks that are out there. Now, granted, when they start pushing, they're going to push the wrong people. People are going to push back. It's going to get fucking bloody. I've been saying that for weeks. This is not going to end cleanly regardless of who fucking wins. It's just a question of what the fucking catalyst is going to be and where that other shoe's going to drop. Honestly, I think people like myself, I got bills to pay. No matter how the election goes, I'm going to go to work the next day. I'm going to still have to fucking draw my paycheck. I'm going to go in. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to keep my opinions to my fucking self because that's what I do when I'm in the office. Because I'm a professional. I'm a grown-up. I know how to fucking act like an adult. I'm not going to be thrilled about it. And on the other hand, you never know what's going to come next. I'm still going to have a fucking gun on my hip and 2 spare mags at my back. So, realistically, if the looting heads towards the office, they're going to be better advised to go somewhere else. And anyway, so yeah, catch the live stream. If you're listening to this after the 2nd or after the 5th, go back, find the live stream. I'm sure when I stream it to my channels, it'll be up in the archives and shit. And I'm going to wrap it up now and say for now, that's what I had to say. Thanks for listening to another episode, guys. If you liked what you heard, leave a comment, leave a review, leave a rating. Go to ihadtosayitpodcast.com, sign up for the mailing list, interact with the show. Click the links, sign up for the Patreon, join the Discord. Come and interact, be a part of the show. Buy the merch, support your favorite creator, or support me. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Till next time.